Chin chin.
Chin chin. Hello, Vika.
Hello.
It's our September podcast, and we just finished this month, Amy,
Ask me anything.
where we discussed creating good copy for your emails. As you already know, the subject line is the most crucial copy you have for your email. Besides that, the email must be appealing and have a clear message. So, listen up for latest copywriting tips. Firstly, tell me 3 most effective tips for the subject line.
And the first tip is use the element of surprise. We all get those check out our discounted products emails, and usually we just ignore them. So try some surprising subject line instead. Use your imagination. Maybe instead try the only product without our discount is the washing machine.
Okay, let's go to the tip number 2.
You want to do it or I want?
Okay, I will do. So, think of the client's needs first. People do not want to hear about your offers. Nope, absolutely not. They want to hear how they get their needs satisfied. So, top 10 solutions of how to save on electricity bills is a much better subject line than we have a cheaper electricity package. Is it really?
Better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Let's change it then if it's not.
I don't know, because if we're thinking what kind of a situation we are now,
Yeah.
so the electricity bills goes higher and higher and higher. So if anyone sends me email with a subject line that 10 things what you can do, switch off all your lights in home and I don't
Use
know.
the kettle only when it's cheaper electricity, etc.
Yes, probably I don't read it, but if I'm getting the email with from here you can get the much cheaper package for electricity, probably I will go with this one.
True, let's change the tip.
Yeah, probably. Okay, and the tip number 3?
Tip number 3, keep it short. While scrolling in your mailbox, people actually don't read every subject line from beginning to end. Instead, people tend to read about only 25% of all the words that are written there. So use the most important words at the beginning of the subject line and make sure that the subject line itself is short and well readable.
Okay, good point. So, now tell me 3 good tips about email content.
Content, sure. As we discussed already earlier, then storytelling is actually addictive. Once you start telling a story, people just cannot resist hearing what will happen next. So use examples to illustrate your texts, as stories are those that people actually remember, because it helps your brain to remember better if you know the story.
Okay, but is there the problem if you are starting telling the story in the newsletter, that the newsletter will be kilometers long?
I don't think you have to tell that long story. The princess can find its prince already earlier as well.
Alright, and with this long story we will go to the tip number 2, stop using too long paragraphs. There is a literature with all the beautiful and colorful words inside the book, and there are emails which are short and straight to the point. Always use adjectives in your text, but make sentences below 25 words and only have 4 or 5 sentences in one paragraph. So, short story, concentrated, and right to the point.
Straight to the point, exactly.
Okay. Tip number 3.
Tip number 3, be unique. And what we mean by that is do not copy the best and most effective marketing strategy, but instead show your honest beliefs and values to the client. Authenticity brings much more value to the copy than overused words like 10 best ways to do something or become a guru in copywriting.
Okay, but actually in our Ask Me Anything, the guy told that use the logic, use the drafts, use the scripts.
Yes.
So it's a little bit controversial, so.
It's a little bit, but I think what is meant here is that if you only use like those things that are considered as the best tips, then there is no real you inside of. If your channel is telling, like I always tell the best tips how to do something, then this is your way and you can do it. But don't try to mix up all the strategies all the time.
Okay. So, what about CTAs?
You wanna?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will.
Tell me some really good tips about CTAs.
Okay. CTA is all about action. So make sure your button has a verb. It can be subscribe here or want the offer, download here, etc, etc, etc. But don't keep it too long and too confusing.
Tip number 2, just as said before, make it clear what happens once the client clicks on the button. If the button says download now, then you cannot direct the person to an actual form and so ask them to fill out the form. It actually needs to be direct to downloading something.
Okay. So, probably. And tip number 3, create urgency. You want your subscribers to act now because they will have forgotten about your email later. So use the FOMO, what is FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Effect in the body text and CTA button. So, good points.
So, tell me, what was the best tip you heard earlier today?
Okay, if we are taking together our Ask Me Anything and our tip podcast, so people do not want to the best content. Instead, they want the content that they understand fastest. No need for heavy and complex words. Explain everything in plain human language and you will get the client's attention much quicker.
I think I agree.
Okay. So,
thanks a lot for tuning in.
woohoo! Do you know what? We also post the tips and tricks on Instagram and TikTok. Check them out. Also, we share content on Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and through our monthly newsletter. Make sure to follow us and thank you for listening our great podcast again.
Chin chin.
Bye bye. Listen up for the latest copywriting tips. Firstly, starting.
mul oligi see, et ma olen mingi, kuna ma vahetama pean. ma ei tea ju.
Teeme niimoodi, et me teeme ja mingit niukest asja, siis vaheta. Teeme uuesti. Hello, Veega.
Hello. Oota, ma pulastan, aga ma ei saa.
We have been here for hours, so.
Subject line. Sure. My first tip is use the element of surprise. We all get those. Kus ma hääl kadus? Lihtsalt täiesti nagu null nagu.
oota, see oli.
Aga äkki sa saad lõigata?
Ei saan jah.
So, tip number 3.
Be unique. What we mean by that is do not copy the best and the most effective marketing strategies, but instead show your honest beliefs and values to the client. Authenticity. How do you say this word? Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Authenticity brings much more value to the copy than overused words like 10 best ways to do something or become a guru in copywriting.
Okay. And tip number 3.
There was a tip number 3.
Selle peab uuesti tegema, muidu on see korra mu see dissid seal vahel kõige mingi naljakas asi. And let's go back to it. And let's go forward with tip number 3.
Tip number 3, be unique. What we mean by that is do not copy the best and most effective marketing strategy. This is my kid probably calling me.
Ma võtan tagasi.
And